a bit different than it was, maybe.
Well, speaking of Corona, it's in everyone's mouth. Particularly, I love that you mentioned a breakdown of a relationship, losing housing. How have you coped yourself? Because when
Me?
when Corona began, I was in Limburg, and I haven't spoken about it in this show. But people were dying each time you go to the shops. You
It was
come
frightening,
across.
yeah.
It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, for me too, because well, I had it Corona really in the beginning already in March 2020, and I don't know how I got it, but I was really ill, really sick for a few months, and then it all was so mysterious. We didn't know. Then we thought that you shouldn't touch things because then you would get infected. Yeah. I just stayed inside for 3 months, and I asked other people.
Hello, everybody. I am Sunny Jermaine, and once again, welcome to another episode of the Sunny Jermaine Show. I'm so excited to be here in Amsterdam, and I am with a special guest, Geke Oosterhof. Correct?
Correct.
Yes, I got it right. She is the amazing director of this wonderful studio space that we call the newest art organization, which hosts a variety of people from all over the world, myself included, and we're going to talk more about it, talk more about her life and how she has been experienced the Netherlands as a Dutch person. I'm really curious. But before we begin, be sure to press like, subscribe, and share with everybody all over the world. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
We're having a nice cup of teas.
Yeah.
Cheers. Do we say cheers to tea?
Of course.
Yes, we
Cheers.
are. Oh, these are so cute, by the way. Hi there. Thank you for this wonderful space. So when did you start the newest arts organization, or you joined along?
No, I started it in 2015 together with a Turkish Dutch guy and an American Dutch woman, the three of us, and we were doing voluntary work at the how do you call it? Noodopvang, the refugee shelters in Amsterdam, and we started with. There were a lot of artists in this space and creative people. And it was in a former prison called Havenstraat. And there were 250 guys, only guys.
Only men.
Only men. And I started just having talks with them, and then I found out that there were a lot of artists and creative people, and they wanted to do something.
So this was the height of the 2015 crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were in waiting.
They were in waiting, so they didn't know what was going to happen, and they were all stuffed in quite small spaces, and it was a bit. It was a total new and strange thing. So I was very curious, and I thought I'm going to have a look.
Oh wow, that's quite an interesting story to begin. So how many people subscribed or wanted to be a part of this at that time?
Well, at that time we were not really an organization. Like the thing we did was collecting materials for people so that they could start making stuff because they didn't have anything. So then a lot of Amsterdam people came on the bike with canvases and paint and clay and all kinds of stuff, and then they started to make
wonderful things like this piece.
Yeah, this piece is from a guy who was in an AZC in the south of Holland, but it's made in the same period.
Yes, I've just noticed, and I've never looked before, but it just says right there.
It's from Jos van.
Jos van 2015.
He's a Kurdish guy, but he was in AZC in the south of the country. But at a certain moment, after 7 months, they were being sent to different AZC's
Yeah.
to the country, and then you had this discouraging policy. So
Okay.
groups of friends and also families were torn apart. It was
Oh,
really
no.
terrible, and they were not allowed to take their materials or their work.
Oh.
So then I rented the first place in Amsterdam, and I collected all these works, and
I
then
see.
we organized an exposition in Amsterdam with work from 20 artists, and that was the first time
Wow.
that something like that happened in Holland.
Wow, that is amazing. So this space was not yet there technically.
This space was not yet there. The first space we had was in Amsterdam West, in a former banking building. We were there for 1.5 years,
Okay.
and then we came here. So we are here now for 3-4 years, I think,
Oh.
something like that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Job
thanks.
well done.
And
So
it's a nice place.
It's really so cool. Train stations right nearby.
Yeah.
It's an artsy district in the east. I absolutely love it. So tell me, you're Dutch. I know a lady, it's not nice to ask a lady her age in case you want to tell us how old you are or how long you've lived in the Netherlands.
I'm born in the Netherlands. I'm 61 years old now, and
Okay.
I'm born in a little village in the eastern part of Holland
Okay, what's
called
that?
Nijverdal.
Okay. First time at a place I've never heard of.
It's a small town, and then we moved to Enschede
Okay.
when I was 14, I think, and then I finished school, secondary school there, and then I went to art academy.
Oh, where here in Amsterdam?
No, in Enschede, in the
Oh,
eastern
still in
part.
Enschede.
But at the same time, I also did a course for a tailorship in Amsterdam. So I went to Amsterdam every week, and then I got work in Amsterdam. So then I stopped the art academy. I did not finish it.
Okay.
I was more interested in working than in studying.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was very young also.
Me
I was
too.
too young for the arts academy, I think.
I see. That's interesting. So you stayed in Amsterdam at that time, or you were commuting?
I was first commuting, and then I never made a decision like now I'm going to move. It just happened in 2 years' time that I was more and more in Amsterdam, and I lived in a lot of different houses and rooms, and before I
So you
settled.
Okay. So you've been more of an Amsterdamer than
Yeah.
an Easterner.
Yeah, and my children are also Amsterdammers. I have 2 children and and a grandson,
Oh,
and
nice.
they are all born in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How is Amsterdam? Like, I've read that there's a Dutch flight of Amsterdam. Some 40,000 people leave. Some 40,000 Dutch people leave Amsterdam and move to smaller, less busier places.
Yeah, I think that the last 10-20 years there have been a lot of changes in Amsterdam, and it's everything is getting really, really expensive, and there was a big focus on tourism, so all the nice shops and stores disappear, and it's getting more and more difficult to find housing in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can imagine that people leave the city. I also think of doing that sometimes, but I cannot live without Amsterdam anymore, so then I think I'm going to look for a small space outside and then one room in Amsterdam for being
to
here
be
a few
easy
days
up
a
and
week.
down.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's so nice. So tell me, how was, for somebody that's new to the Netherlands like me, you came to Amsterdam, which years were those?
It was in the 80s.
In the 80s.
No, just before that, and yeah, I felt really good in Amsterdam because I lived in Enschede, and it's a city at the border, and there was I don't know, it was not a really cozy place to live, and then also I had relationships with boys and with girls, and girls that was not okay there.
It wasn't okay?
You was beaten up for that.
Oh my god. Here in Amsterdam or back in Enschede?
In Enschede. But when I came in Amsterdam, I thought, oh, this is something else, that was really a big change for me.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite fascinating. Would you say that living in a smaller place affected you compared to here? Did you find that you had more freedom here, or it was more?
Yeah, it was more freedom, but it was also saying goodbye to all kind of traditions. I was raised in a very Christian family, and with a lot of punishment and a lot of rules and a lot of restrictions. And I was happy that I had my own life, that I lived for myself, and that I also left my parental house really early with a fight. Also,
Oh no!
So, but then it ended up better at the end. But I was really happy that I was here in Amsterdam. And
how young were you?
I was 18, 19.
Yeah, because I've known 19, 20. Because I've noticed that Dutch children don't leave their parents' houses early. It's a lot, maybe 20s, 24, 5 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Because I always in my mind, I suppose it's television Hollywood. In my mind, I had 18. That's it. 18. That's it.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it changed also, but it's also because of Corona maybe. My daughter left our house when she was 17 also. And my son stayed a little bit longer, but then when he left, then he had a house for himself, but then Corona came, and then he lost everything, his house, the relationship, work, and then he sent me a message in the middle of the night, Mom, is my room still free, can I come back for a while? So then he lived for 1.5 years with me again. So that things are happening now, you know, that's a bit different than it was maybe.
Well, speaking of Corona, it's in everyone's mouth. Particularly, I love that you mentioned a breakdown of a relationship, losing housing. How have you coped yourself? Because when Corona began, I was in Limburg, and I haven't spoken about it in this show, but you know, people were dying each time you go to the shops. You come across. It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, for me too, because. Well, I had it, Corona really in the beginning already, in March 2020, and I don't know how I got it, but I was really ill, really sick for a few months, and then it all was so mysterious, you know, we didn't know, then we thought that you shouldn't touch things because then you would get infected. Yeah. I just stayed inside for 3 months, and I asked other people to walk the dog, and I got really sick, and also this just stopped, you know, everything we were doing here. We did workshops and things, and we couldn't do anything for a long time.
Wow.
And for me it was not that bad, you know, I don't care being alone. I like to be alone. So for me it was not a problem. I think for children and young people, young adults, it's really has been a disaster. Absolutely. Made big changes in their lives.
It was, I don't know, here in Amsterdam you never came across funerals, maybe if you were going to the shops, because in Limburg it seemed like every other hour you pass a funeral.
Really?
Yes, you pass a funeral, It was just in our faces every day. And I always wondered how it was like in the bigger cities.
Yeah, here it was very, very, very quiet, and the city was beautiful. I just walked through the city and it was so quiet. It was like when I moved to Amsterdam, then with my girlfriend I did walks on Sunday morning, every Sunday morning through the canals, because then it was really quiet in the city. And that just disappeared. But now with Corona it was back to the 80s again, you know. That was nice. The city was beautiful, but we did not see. I did not see any coffin or no, not at all.
Oh wow! What a big contrast.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying about how the city was empty, because I'm on social media a lot, and that was a prominent thing. People saying, "Can you believe that this is Amsterdam? We've never seen Amsterdam this empty."
It was crazy.
And people were saying, "We have our city back." Did you feel like, because tourism is quite big. Everybody wants to visit Amsterdam.
Yeah, I don't know why, but sometimes I'm really curious. I think, what are these people doing here?
It's interesting because every day somebody would, I'm visiting Amsterdam. Can you? I'm like, oh, first of all, I don't stay in Amsterdam. Number one.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to visit Amsterdam. It has that thing. I don't know.
It has that thing, but I'm a bit shocked about how Amsterdam has changed.
So when did that begin, if you recall, the influx of tourism?
I think 2000 or something. Or with this change to the guilder to the euro. It also was a financial thing, I think.
See.
And
and more countries came into the EU, I suppose, at that time.
that was also in that time, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I lived the first years that I lived in Amsterdam. I lived in the inner city, and now since 30 years I live in Amsterdam East, and I only visit the center if it's really necessary.
I can imagine. I did stay in Amsterdam a little bit in 2021. I also had the inner city view of Amsterdam, but then when I lived in the outside, I'm like, oh, Amsterdam is actually livable, and I would never go to the city at all.
No.
And now I miss it. I'm like, oh shit, I wanted to be here.
Yeah, but I miss also a lot of last week I was at the Albert Kuip market, and there you have some stores where you can buy fabrics, tissues for making clothes. And I hadn't been there since 2000. Yeah, since Corona. And then 2 shops just disappeared, and
just like that.
And then I asked, where is the Boerenbondhout? It's not here anymore. It's left. And then I think, oh Jesus, again, all the nice stores are just vanishing. That's really the kind of old-fashioned stores, just where you can buy only one article instead of supermarkets, and
Also, it's becoming more and more commercial.
Yeah. And expensive. Really expensive.
Very expensive. So tell me about this arts place then. You are now in contact with so many people from outside the Netherlands.
Yeah.
What are you learning? Are they integrating into the Netherlands? Is it difficult? How are they finding it from your view? I know we don't want you to speak on their behalf, but what was your answer?
Exactly. You cannot talk about the refugee. The refugee is not a thing, and it's not one kind of person. They are just human beings. We are. And in fact, I just acted from out curiosity. I wanted to know what they had to bring to us. And I was curious what kind of art they made, and also crafts. And I was totally overwhelmed by different cultures, and also languages, poetry. It was so much. And then we were asked by the city council to do a program which was about integration. And then I thought, then I need an opinion about integration, And then I thought integration should be a two-way thing. It's not about that I tell you have to integrate, but integration comes from two sides. So then I thought art is a perfect tool to bring people together.
Always.
And so that's the way I tried to.
That was the first thing I saw on your website. Integration is a two-way thing. I was like, this is where I belong.
After the first exposition, I wanted to keep in contact with these people, and then also a lot of these artists wanted to go back to Amsterdam after their procedure, but they were not allowed to, so they were placed to little villages at the border, and they wanted to go to the art academy or something like that, and then I asked the city of Amsterdam if I could make a list of people to get back here, and they first said no, but then there was one brave man, and he said we are going to do it secretly. So how many people are on the list? To like 20, 40, and I said no, 200.
Oh my God.
I said okay, let's do it.
All right.
So then I could write letters to the COA, like this person needs to go back to Amsterdam for this or this reason.
Yeah.
And we managed to get all these people back. So then we had a big group of people that we could work with.
Oh, that's so nice.
That was really nice.
So were they able to continue in their artistic careers?
Not always, not always. And it's also, this group is also from a very, there are people who were artists, who had their education in Damascus or wherever, and also were already very famous. Okay. But there are also people who started making artwork while they were fleeing, because I think that there are artists are more, a lot of time artists are the first people who flee a country when there goes something wrong, and these people travel together and inspire each other also, and then also there is still a lot of contact with people in other countries in Europe, like brothers or sisters who live in Denmark or in Berlin or wherever, and also contact with people who get stuck in their flights, who live in Lebanon or in Turkey or in Egypt. But anyway, there is a kind of lively spider web between all these artists and art scenes, and they also get to know each other here, and that's really inspiring and nice to see how these people cooperate together. But there are also people who just choose to have another life here, to do something else.
I see. Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Yeah.
That's nice. So tell me, what have you learned about parenting?
About parenting?
Yes. Either from being parented yourself or from being a parent yourself. Boy, oh boy.
Well, I think when I was very young, when I was 10 or 11 or 12 or something, I thought I really want to be a mother, but not in the traditional way, not with a family, because I saw it was terrible. The way I was raised was really with a lot of inequality and I really couldn't think of that situation that I would choose for one person and start a family with this person. So then I thought maybe it's better to raise a few children with a few adult people. So then that was the way I got pregnant the first time. I still had a girlfriend. We had a donorship.
I see.
But yeah, at the end I think I was a little bit too optimistic about this whole system, because I was the only one who liked the idea, because the other people all had difficulties with it. The traditional family still is very strong. And I don't want to change that. I didn't want to have it
for yourself. No, but I like what you just said, because it reminds me, in Africa, people say a child is raised by a village. So
exactly, yeah.
It seems like parenting is so hard.
After my second child, my son River, is from a man Sim, and I loved him. I was very, very much in love with him, but we did not live together, but we had a really strong relationship. But he died. He got sick and he died. And my son was 12 then. He was really young. But then I was very worried about my children, of course. I was in grief, but I also was worried. But children are so strong, My son, for instance, asks to fathers or friends of him, can you in the future please get an eye on me a little bit? Himself.
Wow.
If I have a problem that I don't want to discuss with my mom, can I come to you?
Wow.
Nah, that's really great,
Yes, the vision.
Yeah, and I think this is something that is possible in this society that we live in now.
Yes.
This was not possible when I was young, Then if you did not belong to a family, then you were
alone, basically.
You didn't have anything.
Oh my God.
And that has changed. I think that there are more possibilities to to be responsible for each other, parents and children, but also neighbors.
Yes.
And,
chosen families.
chosen families.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Yes, we're bringing the village to Europe.
Yeah, the village is very. The village is the nicest one and the best one you've ever seen, with all these different influences and cultures, and also like this part of Amsterdam East is really nice.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time at Texel or Terschelling, the islands from Netherlands.
Up in the north.
But I'm always so happy when I come back to Amsterdam East, because I think, here I can buy every kind of food that I want to have, and I can buy an English newspaper if I want to, and that makes this city really comforting.
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah.
I've been reading some old Dutch newspapers, and I think almost everyone that is new in the Netherlands, they say that coming back to Amsterdam, it feels like home.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, that's so true. Whenever I come to Amsterdam, I'm like, I feel completely at home. Love it.
No,
it's amazing what Dutch people have created with the city. That's so inviting.
Yeah, but I'm still surprised about the difference between cities and the countryside, because I really like to go to these islands, because I spent a lot of time there when I was a child also, and it's, for me, going to Terschelling feels a bit like going home,
Okay.
But if I am there for 3-4 days, then I think, where can I buy curcuma? Where are the colored people here? Where are they? There are none. No.
Yeah.
Really none.
Oh my goodness.
And I think, how is this possible, That's so strange.
Interesting. I love that. Yeah, because you know what? People always ask me, what do you eat in the Netherlands? I'm like, oh, don't worry. It's a diverse taste of food. Everything is here.
Yeah.
Kurkuma,
Yeah.
love it as well. Can't live without it.
But you can live in a place in Holland where you have to travel for an hour to do shopping with different ingredients.
Yes, for many Africans actually, we normally go to Hansenhof. For the fish markets, the meats.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's become well known for that.
Yeah.
So, and traveling is nice. Not so much.
Not so much.
No. It needs a little bit more diversity. A little bit more.
Yeah, this is also something that can change now with new people, newcomers. They can start their own businesses. So that will really make a change. I hope.
Absolutely. But then we also live in these times where people are in such huge disagreements, particularly about immigration. It's so fascinating to me how immigration is such a big issue. I mean, the UK left the EU because of that. So I was in Switzerland a few months ago. The buses have adverts, no migrants. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more difficult sometimes, I think, because it's all about fear, people are so afraid of things, and I really have problems understanding that. I don't understand their fear, and I feel pity also for these people that they cannot enjoy all the new things that are coming, because it can enrich your life, and the life of your children, and but people are afraid of losing traditions, for example, and then I think, what is a tradition?
Anyway,
what is it? And what is Holland? There are people from NAO who ask for a subsidy at the art funding.
Okay.
And then they show their work, and then they get the question, do you think that your art will fit in our society? And I think, what is our society, what is that?
Yeah.
Because these people are our society, it's part of our society. And
already.
They're still, the art world is terrible in this thing, it's ruled by people of my generation who want to keep things like it was in the earlier centuries. You think it's really really strange. And there also always have been a big difference between art of white Western people and art of colored people that also that live here already for generations. You know, there was always a division. Yeah, we are also trying to get that a little bit closer, and you also see it now in society that it changes a bit. Now companies are forced to have a kind of more human-centered policy, and you know, but still it is not something natural for a lot of people, I think. And it takes generations, I think.
That's and curiosity in your part, for example. You know, if you hadn't had that idea to say, all right, we have these 200 people, let me find out what is happening in their lives, where they're coming from. It wouldn't have worked. We wouldn't be here.
No.
Your curiosity actually works. And it's something that I like myself. I like to be curious because you would never be exposed to something unless you're actually curious yourself.
You also always have to start with a question or with an opening or and this was a really a weird situation, you know, this former prison where all these guys went together, and so you had these refugees and then a group of young white women who were all doing things there, like language lessons and organizing stuff, and I thought, this is not real life, you know.
The human fact.
And it's also not a human life to live in an AZC for years. That's really so terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Also children who are growing up in AZCs, oh man, it's such a bad situation, really. And also how the government is coping with it. Like in 2019 they thought, okay, now we're done, we can close all the AZCs again. And now we are at the same level again as in 2015, and there is no space anymore.
There's no space.
It's terrible.
It is.
There was space, you know. In 2016, 17, there was space enough, and but everything got stuck. Like there was not enough housing, and the IND needed more time to do their work. And then Corona came, and they had not people enough to work at the IND and the color. So that's also part of the problem, I think. And it's the whole political thing.
I see. But that also brings up a good point when you say the IND doesn't have people who they're understaffed, because we now see the Dutch labor market is actually so tight. Are people tired, in your opinion? What do you think is causing there to be such a scarcity of work?
I don't know how people earn their money nowadays.
I'm curious.
I don't know what they are doing.
I'm so curious.
I really don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, I thought maybe I'm so curious myself. Or maybe is the backpacking zipper thing working so well? I wonder. Because I've been a freelancer for so long in my life. So I'm thinking maybe it works for people.
I think working has changed also through Corona. I think the whole, like it was, like the people went to their work, to the office. That will never come back in that manner, I think.
No.
And it's not that bad at all. I think working from at home online is a really good solution.
It is.
But, I have the same question as you have. I don't know where all these people get their money from. I really don't know.
It's quite interesting. I love it though. I mean, I suppose all of us in these art spaces and activism spaces were always, I wouldn't say I'm anti-capitalist. I would say capitalism needs to be shaped again.
I can agree with that. I am anti-capitalism, and I'm also anti-neoliberalism. I think that's the baddest thing that could have happened to us.
What makes you say that? If I may hear your
version of it. I think we've lost so much community thoughts, you know,
Yeah.
that people were really equal. And I think if everyone has to conquerize, then there's also always a big group of people that stays below, and that's not good.
Yeah.
And you can also see it that the differences between rich and poor are getting much more bigger again. And I really miss the 70s and the 80s when Holland had a leftish government. I think times were much better then, but they have ruined it themselves, you know.
I see. When was it the last time that Holland had a leftist government, actually?
In the 80s.
Oh, that was back then.
Yeah, a really long time ago. After that we had a few purple, like they called it, cabinets, and it was a mix-up from left and left and right.
Oh, nice to know. Purple.
Yeah, purple. But it was not a big success either. Now, the last 10, 20 years, more extreme rights politicians come up. And what now is happening in politics, it's really amazing what is happening, how people talk to each other, and how they use social, social media.
To be so aggressive.
Nah, it's really, and that they Photoshop pictures with
oh my god, yeah.
swastika flags.
Oh
and
my
then I think, what is happening here, you know?
Gosh. Yeah. We call them keyboard warriors, you know, people who hide behind their keyboards, things they would never say in real life.
Nay. And really exciting things are happening tomorrow. There will be a debate in the government about a new gender law. And it goes up and down and up and down. You know, half a year ago they made this design for a new law that people are able to change their female or male in their passport themselves.
Yeah.
And tomorrow there will be made a decision about that. And there are a lot of people against that. And not only old-fashioned people, also feminists who are afraid that if a guy can change to a girl, then he also gets the privileges of that were meant for women, you know. And so also leftist feminist women now say, no, this is not good because we need the separation between genders, and then I always think I wish we had passports with all an X in it, with no genders in it at all, you know. Then really something would change, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reminded of J.K. Rowling. I think she's the most, you know, somebody that was leftist, but then everybody's like, okay, what's happening here?
But what happened with her then?
Oh, she's so transphobic. She's anti-gender reforms.
Oh, really?
Oh, she is.
Oh, I missed that.
Every day on social media.
Really?
Every day.
Is this also fear, you think? What is this?
I'm glad you brought it up because it's also strange to me. You wouldn't expect that from the feminist movement as well. It's like, where's the fear coming from? I haven't put my finger on it either.
Maybe it's also a tradition that we want to recognize people as men or women, and that it makes us afraid or insecure if we don't know what someone is.
I have to agree. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, there's just so much fear, and I think people are not well mentally, spiritually.
No, people are not well. I agree with that. Not all people, but a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah, because this aggression, and for me, I always say social media is not the problem because it's a platform. You decide how you use it. So if people are using it so badly, that means it's something that they've been, I won't say feeling. Okay, yeah, maybe feeling, but it's the fear. Irrational fear for that.
Irrational fear. But I do think that the social media gives people the idea that they have more power than they have in real life, you know?
Yeah.
And that makes it dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, because on social media I spend half of my time reporting, oh, this piece it's anti-community guidelines, and I almost always I always get that they respond to me and say, yes, you're right, this user is violating the terms and conditions. I'm like, yes, we need people to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
I remember last year when it was it last year? Or maybe the year before that, when the big protests in Eindhoven, which went all the way, and somebody was like, oh, migrants needs to be shipped off to Auschwitz. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen for nothing, but it has affects this kind of things, because now Denmark is shipping refugees to Rwanda. So and this comes from out something, and the whole idea that there is no space enough, that's crazy, and it will only get more and more migration. You will get so first we got now a new wave of Ukrainian people, but now 10,000 of Russian people are fleeing Russia
as well
every day, and then if climate changes a little bit more, then we have to flee from here, then we cannot stay in Amsterdam, we have to go somewhere else.
The
so
water is always looming.
It's not going to change anymore, so we better find solutions together at the space that we share together, I think.
You bring up climate change as well, which is another topic, Also on social media we have people saying, nope, there's no such thing, climate change is not real, it's another woke agenda. These days, if you are trying to be an activist, you are accused of being woke. I don't know if you've come across it.
I always think, do these people have children and grandchildren,
Good question.
Are they not afraid for their lives? Because we have ruined, or my generation and the older ones have ruined everything, but we have responsibility, And I now think that young people feel more responsibility than people of my age sometimes, and I'm really happy for that, of course. But this should have never happened in the beginning, and we were so not knowing things, like this whole thing that we were depending from Russia so much for fuel and for gas. I really didn't know that. Did you know that?
No. I always used to see it in the news way before I moved here, but I never realized the gravity of it, that it was actually that serious.
No, me neither. But now I also read in the newspaper that we have lots of gas in Holland, stored under the ground, but it's all for trade, so a part of that has to go to Russia and a part of that has to go to Spain. So Holland is a kind of harbor for gas, I guess, and I don't understand that we are now, we all have to pay a lot of extra every month, while there is no problem.
I received the email, the electricity company was saying, watch out, from October 1, 2022, your prices are going up. I'm like, oh no. We won't be showering. It will be an interesting winter.
It will be, not for a lot of people much more than for us, I think, but it has a lot of effects on politics also, and that makes me a little bit afraid sometimes.
Well, where do you think this society is heading? Interesting question to ask a Dutch person.
I don't dare to speak about the society. I can only speak about my life and the circle around me and what I can do. It's also limited what I can do, and what I want to do also, because the only thing I can say about society is that it's frightening me, and that I try to convince people from other opinions and from other insights, and get them more open to newcomers and more enjoying also life, their own life, and the life of people around them. But it's what you said. People are not doing well. That's absolutely true. But what can we do to improve their situation and our situation?
I believe we're in the right place.
We are at the right place. I'm always very happy when I'm here. That was also very nice in Corona. Also when I had it myself for 3 times.
Okay.
But then I always, because I live nearby, I was always able to go here in the night or in the daytime and just spend a few hours here.
Yeah.
And then I feel very privileged. I feel very rich with all this art around me.
Yes, I was about to say, with so much art around, and it's so calming. It's all the world in one space, which is I have to commend it, because I loved it when I first came here in 2021, and I thought I have to find a way to work with you. And I just kept your business card, and I don't know, one day, what was I doing?
Yeah.
It just the card fell out of nowhere. I have a weird life, things just happen to me. The card just fell out, and I'm like, oh shoot, hey, we met last year. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but this is nice from this place, because you were here not for our organization, but for another project, for safe spaces. So what was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And that was a really interesting project too. And I really I visited and I had a look at what was happening, and I thought, these are also interesting people. And then I think, I'm going to give my business card, because maybe they want to do something.
Yeah.
And that's nice, because it's not always easy to get to know people. You have to find them, and they have to find you.
I always say that I always, in my mind, I call it the stranger in a foreign city. Even in Zimbabwe, I would, people are moving up and down, everyone is minding their own business, and I wonder who's new here, and they are lost, and they have absolutely nowhere to go. Where would they begin? Who would they even say hi to?
Exactly.
Because it's impossible. It's just hard to bring people. Of course, funny enough, interesting enough, here in the Netherlands, a lot of people tell me that, I met somebody in the train, we just started speaking. I'm like, okay, that's never happened to me before.
Okay, it sometimes can happen. Yesterday I took the tram to buy something for my new grandchild, and it was very bad. It was on Saturday, and it's a bad decision because it's always very crowded on Saturday. Also in the tram, but then I was with my dog, and there was a woman behind me. She was from Australia. She said, "Can I please cuddle your dog? Because it's an Australian kennel dog, and I had one too, and he died half a year ago, and I miss him." So then I had an extended conversation with her, with a totally stranger in the tram about dogs, and then I think, that's funny.
That's a nice way to start a conversation. At least something to bring you together. Yeah. So when you don't have that little thing, I think it can be hard.
Yeah, but she needed a little bit of bravoure to do that,
yes. Absolutely.
So that's sometimes, if you need something, just speak out. That's what I always advise people. And also,
all right, guys. Speak out.
And also advise people, don't call yourself always a refugee, but say that you are an expat or something. And that's also that can also change the attitude of people.
Interesting. Oh, good tip as well. Two good tips in 10 seconds. I love it.
Because you at the moment you are a refugee, but you cannot stay a refugee for the rest of your life. There must be a moment that you are just a citizen.
Absolutely. Because I love that you brought that up, because I always see it even with Trevor Noah. Whenever he talks about the situation, you know Trevor Noah, right? Whenever he talks about the situation in the United States, immediately people respond on the internet, go back where you came from.
Oh, still too, Trevor Noah.
Absolutely. I was like, oh wow.
But this is so interesting. What do people think that they are better than other people, that they can say this kind of things? What is it? Is it Christianity, or what is it colonialism? What has made this idea that white people, because they are not originally Americans either, you know.
Absolutely.
They just occupied the whole thing over there.
I'll be
So
sure to
it's
note
not
that
their right.
question.
It's not their right to send Trevor Noah away because they occupied everything over there. And now I also, with the dying of the last Queen of England, I really had to think about this whole idea of the Commonwealth, and that they still, this British people have the idea that they own the world.
Yeah.
How man is dealing now with the whole Ukraine crisis also. Do you know that why America already made up 20, 30, 40 years ago that they owned the world and that they could enter every country that they wanted to. And now they are also, I don't know if it's such a good idea that they are involved in this whole thing. I think it's it could have been avoided, I think.
Yes, it could have been. It could have been. Well, we're watching history unfold right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, but this is really, I've never had such a time in my life as at this moment, and I don't mean it in a positive way, I mean it in a disturbing way, you know?
Yeah, it's disturbing, it really is. Yeah, it seems like we are, there's a movie called Crash that I like, it seems like we're just crashing into each other.
Yeah, but how can we stay happy? You know, all these people that have to flee and have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
All these people are, or not all these people, but there's a lot of trauma in this, you know.
Yeah, fleeing, it just comes with trauma. Yeah.
And but how can these people get happy again? You know?
Yeah, that's so true. Well, I will be sure to note down the questions you pose for other people when we do have other talks.
Yeah,
it was such a lovely pleasure picking your brain, finding out what makes you tick and how you establish this place. So now I have what we call a head scratch question. It makes you scratch your head a little bit, but yours is pretty simple, or maybe it's hard. Choose between one of two things: yogurt or ice cream. One has got to go. Choose one, and why?
ice cream. I want to keep ice cream.
Okay, why?
Because ice cream is a comforting stuff. Yogurt is just food.
Okay, I'll take that. Ice cream is comforting food. I like that. Well, Geke Oosterhof, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you. We need more talks. Huh?
We do.
With or without camera.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much for this wonderful space called the Newest Art Organization. We'll be sure to have you back soon.
Thank you for working.
Nice. Guys, be sure to check out Be sure to check out another episode of the SJ Show. Just click on the profile for other episodes you might have missed, and watch out for the future. And of course, subscribe, like, and share. See you on social media. Bye. Abantu. Yeah.